Welcome to our tutorial on rescuing weather readings. I'm going to take you through a couple of typical tasks that volunteers can help us with. So, starting off on the dashboard, click on Rescue Weather Readings. This will take you to the next available document that we would like a volunteer to look at. You can use these zoom in and zoom out buttons to help you read what is in the document. Does this document contain any information or references to Australia's weather or climate? To find out why we asked this question, you can hover your mouse over this information icon. So I've looked at the document and I can see that it contains temperature measurements. I'm going to say that this is a reference to Australia's weather, so I'm going to click yes. The next question: does this image contain an article with words, or is it a table with numbers? Now it looks to me like a table with numbers, so I'll go ahead and click numbers. Again, if you want to know more about this question, simply hover your mouse over the information icon. In fact, there are quite a few of these information icons throughout the site, so if you ever want any extra information, look for the nearest info icon. The next question: does this document contain weather measurements for individual days? Now I can see here in this table that there are indeed measurements on individual days, so I'm going to click yes. If the table only had weekly or monthly averages, then I would have clicked no. Okay, so now you have the opportunity to actually rescue these readings in this table. You should start by working out what was the date of the first day mentioned in the table. You can see here the day and the date the table was published. So I can count backwards to calculate when the first day of this table was. See, it was published on Monday, June 6th, and it was for last week. So we count back from June 6th, so that would make the first day in this table the 30th of May. And so I want to put that in over here. So now I'm going to begin entering the information for the first measurement listed for that particular day. In this case, we can see here that it was taken at 9 AM. So in the time field, I'll choose 9 and 0. Next, I need to select the type of method used to measure the weather. Here in this table, it was temperatures taken at specific times. So for each one, I would call it a single observation. You can see here you could have chosen a mean, a minimum, or a max, or even a range if alternative types of measurements are displayed in the table. If you're not sure what type of measurement it was, select Unknown. So next we choose what type of reading it is. In this case it's temperature, and you can assume that in the 1800s all the temperature measurements would have been in degrees Fahrenheit. Now it's time to actually type in the value. So over here I can see it says 47, so I simply type 47 into this box. We see that for that particular day, the 30th of May, there was more than one reading. So I'm going to add another reading for that same day. Now much of the information from this first reading will be copied into the second one, so that you don't have to select all the same options again. Here I'm going to change the time, because we can see over here in the table that the next reading was taken at 12 noon. It's still a single observation and it's still a temperature reading. Some tables will have both temperature and pressure, which is where you might need to change this option for readings taken on the same day. Now the next value is 62. And there is one final reading for that day, so I add another reading for 6 PM. Notice the time is in 24 hours and 0 stands for 00. Now, single observation again, temperature, Fahrenheit, all correct, and we put in 55. Now I've completed all of the readings in this table for Monday the 30th of May. But there are other days included in this table, so we need to add another day. Now you'll notice that the system has automatically progressed the date by 1 day. Usually this should be correct, but you should check this in case your table does not progress daily. Again, the system has copied information from the first day, including the different times. This should make it a lot easier to fill in the table. And as you can see in this case, I actually don't need to change any of the drop-down menus. I just need to put in the values. So I'll put in 48 and then 60 and then 57. Okay, that's Tuesday finished. Let's move on to Wednesday. Again, these are all correct. It has progressed 1 day. We see it hasn't progressed the month, so we need to drop down to June to make sure we're now in June. Okay, and our readings for Wednesday were 46. And to make it a bit quicker, I can use the Tab key on the keyboard to skip to the next box. And 60 and 56. And I will continue to do that for all of the days that are written in this table. Once you have finished recording all of the readings from this table, we just need you to tell us where these measurements were taken. In this case, the table was published in the Sydney Herald, so that's New South Wales and Sydney. Now that you've finished the table, if you had any problems along the way or found any extra information that didn't fit in our form, you can put it in this comments box. Once you've done that, you click I am finished. If you haven't finished but you wish to continue working on this document later, click Continue Later. If you haven't finished but you would not like to work on this document later, then you can skip this document. The system asks, are you sure you've completed the table? I am, so I'll click OK. Okay, now you can see we've run into a problem here, and that's because I left some of these blank. If you can't read any of the information in the table and you have a blank box, then you need to delete this blank box here by clicking on the X. You can also delete entire days. Now that we don't have any blank spaces, we can continue. It sometimes takes a few moments for the next document to be uploaded. And we move on to the next table. If you want to choose a different type of document, then you simply return to the dashboard. If you are interested in exploring articles, journals and diaries, we recommend that you review another one of our video tutorials which you can find on the tutorial page.